Okay, so good afternoon and welcome. First of all, thank you for joining us for the Clean Tech for Green Industry Solution Forum. My name is Catherine Wong. I will be your Master of Ceremonies for today. And we will have in total 7 solutions that will be showcased during the course of this session. So we have a very packed session, so I won't take up too much of your time at the moment. But first of all, I would like to invite Dr. Heinz Leuenberger, the Director of UNIDO's Environmental Management Branch, to give the opening presentation and overview of the session for today. So, Dr. Leuenberger, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Catherine. Before we start with the individual technology solutions, I would like to give you a short overview of how in UNIDO, and UNIDO stands for United Nations Industrial Development Organization, how we approach the cleaner production or the cleaner technology transfer, and how we do the South-South cooperation already for quite a few years. Though, if you go, we have heard it this morning, that the green economy, in a way, is not anymore a dispute if we should go for it or not. It is more or less clear. And here we have just two or three justifications why, in my view, there is absolutely no alternative to a green economy or what we call a green industry. Here you can see that is the material consumption between 1980 and 2020, and you see it doubled in these 40 years. And predictions go on that even in the next, from 2020 to 2050, it will double again. And I think it's quite obvious and clear, this type of material consumption is absolutely not sustainable. Exactly the same we can see here for the energy consumption. You have here 3 different scenarios. If the humans are successful in poverty eradication, then you can see that the energy consumption will triple till 2050. So there we have an absolutely, again, unsustainable situation. Though the challenge of the future, in a way, will be to have economic growth or to increase our living standards, our health system, our education system, but at the same time, to decouple it, to decrease material consumption, energy consumption, chemical consumption, but also to reduce the emissions to the environment. So this decoupling will be, in a way, the challenge of the future for all economies. Now, here you can see how we in UNIDO see green industry. We define the green industry initiative, how we see it as a key pillar in the green economy or in the green growth strategy or also in this green jobs discussion. Green economy is far more than only industries. It is agriculture, tourism, housing, transportation, fishery, forestry, and so on. But industry, manufacturing industry will play a key role, like a pillar for all these different other activities. We work in a way in 2 major areas. What we think is, one is greening of existing industries to make them more resource efficient, to replace fossil fuels by renewable energy, to phase out toxic chemicals, but also to redesign the products so they are using less energy, less material during their lifetime, and at the end of their lifetime they can be recycled, so materials can be brought back to the cycle, which is absolutely necessary if you want to achieve this decoupling process. But on the other hand, we also need to build up what we call green industries, consulting companies, engineering companies, companies producing renewable energy equipment, recycling companies, waste treatment companies, companies who help the other companies to become more green or greening the existing companies. So these 2 major areas is where UNIDO is working. We are working on the policy level. Capacity building is, of course, the key activity, but you can also see that technology cooperation, technology transfer is a major activity for all this greening of existing industries and to build up green industries. Also, of course, financial instruments. Here you can just see the market for environmental goods and services in the different areas of energy efficiency, sustainable water management, till waste management and recycling is huge. These are estimations from a consulting company, Roland Berger, in 2012, about the future market of all these services. So there is a huge potential to generate jobs, income, and also welfare for people. McKinsey, also not really a green consulting company, is estimating last year only the savings for resource efficiency. So if whatever we do, we would do it more efficient, the savings would be in 2030 around $3 trillion. So it's a huge amount of money we can save. So it is not only a question of to do it, but it's also a question of how can we save these resources on one hand, but also how can we save the money. If we reduce the efficiency or increase the efficiency, then of course we can also reduce the production costs and companies are becoming more competitive. Interesting is also that about 75% of this potential is only in about 15 different measures. And here you can see the biggest potential for resource efficiency, according to McKinsey, is in developing countries. About up to between 60 and 80% the potential is in developing countries. Why is this? Because in many of these countries we have a lot of SMEs using old, outdated technology, also not really implementing best practice, though they are wasting a lot of water, a lot of materials, a lot of chemicals to produce exactly the same as other people can do it with a more efficient technology and a more efficient management. We present here 7 case studies. First of all, 3 from the, in a way, technology transfer window. Then, of course, we believe that not only the technology transfer is important, but of course it's also the capacity development, the knowledge management, and also the network solutions which are necessary to do a successful technology transfer between north and south and south and south. That's the same. And then, of course, we present 2 examples, and we are also willing to present you 2 examples from the rural electrification. So here we have the technology transfer. We have one from China and West Asia, between China and West Asia, which is in the area of air conditioning, which will be presented by Niels as the first presenter. Then we have one in Vietnam, where we are using technology to produce energy, electricity out of waste, organic waste material. And then we have India, between India and Kenya, which will be presented by the Kenya Cleaner Production Center, if the lady is still able to make it. And then we have one which is presented from JICA, which is more on capacity development for government officials in the area of energy management, also where we work together with Turkey. And then Caroline is presenting a program where, again, capacity building, but also technology transfer is a key aspect. It is a project between Egypt, Morocco, Tunisia, around the Mediterranean. It's called Transfer of Environmental Sound Technologies. And last but not least, we have 2 projects presented from the rural electrification. One is from Sierra Leone, and the other one is Israel, Tanzania, and Ethiopia. And in Africa, it's more in the area of innovation, which I think is also quite important. So, okay. Thank you, and we go for the first presentation.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ole Nielsen. I come from the Montreal Protocol branch of UNIDO. Our branch is usually perceived to have a rather small mandate, namely to protect the ozone layer through phasing out of ozone-depleting substance. But I would like, with this presentation, to demonstrate to you that we also contribute to greening of industry as well as the South-South cooperation. In order for you to get the picture, I have to spend a little time on the background for this whole exercise. Then I will tell you about the project that we have ongoing. And finally, we have also identified a couple of new South-South opportunities that we would like to implement in the near future. We are doing this project in the sector of residential air conditioning. Why are we doing this? Well, this sector has a rapid growth. I believe that now people have all got their refrigerator, now they need an air conditioner. There is a proven connection between human health and proper temperature of your houses. However, the air conditioning sector is one of the major energy consuming sectors. I put here the number for United States. It's 185 billion kilowatt hours per year, which is quite a lot. There has been different investigations, but one have shown that in particular in developing countries there is a huge unsaturated market for air conditioner, and we expect rapid growth, and this is in particular in India. In most air conditioner, we use a refrigerant called HCFC-22, that means hydrochlorofluorocarbon. This is the most common one. The Montreal Protocol phases out ozone-depleting substances. One of them is HCFC-22, which is the most common one in the air conditioner. This diagram shows you the phase-out schedule according to Montreal Protocol. And you will see that developing countries, that is the red line, should phase out by 2030. I have to say Montreal Protocol has global ratification, so all countries have ratified the Montreal Protocol and all countries follow this schedule. The Montreal Protocol initial objective is to phase out ozone-depleting substances and to recover the ozone layer. However, recently another objective has been practiced by the Montreal Protocol, namely to minimize the impact on climate with any intervention done by Montreal Protocol. If we look at the air conditioning sector, I listed here the potential alternatives to HCFC, but I colored the table like a traffic light. So red means no go by Montreal Protocol, yellow means maybe, and green means yes. You will see that we have a lot of abbreviations, but the red one is HFC, hydrofluorocarbon. These molecules, they have fluorines, so they have long atmospheric lifetime, and therefore they have substantial impact on the global climate. I indicated here the GWP number. GWP is global warming potential. It's in relation to CO2, and they are typically in the range of 2,000 times stronger than CO2. The yellow alternative is a blend of HFC and HFO. HFO is actually also an HFC, but with a double bond, so that the atmospheric lifetime is shorter, and thereby the impact on the global warming is less. The green ones have a global warming potential of 675 or less, and these are currently accepted by the Montreal Protocol for funding. I have to take the right column also, because that's the safety classification. A1 means that the substance is not flammable nor toxic. A2L or A3 means that the substance is either mildly flammable or highly flammable. And B2 means toxic. And you will see all the alternatives we can implement through Montreal Protocol. They are either flammable or toxic. China is the world's largest consumer of HCFC, and they have a number of activities ongoing in parallel with all implementing agencies of the Montreal Protocol, and in addition also bilateral agencies. UNIDO is responsible for the air conditioning sector, and in 2011 we got approval of a sector plan that will eliminate 10% of the consumption of HCFC in China by 2015. We got $75 million from the Multilateral Fund for this exercise. The Chinese government took a very proactive approach, and they decided to go for what we consider the final technology in terms of environment. So they will promote R290 or propane as alternative in residential air conditioner. Given the flammability of propane, this is absolutely a challenge. But with this project, China will convert 18 production lines with a total output of about 6.5 million air conditioners per year into propane. In parallel, they will also convert 5 compressor lines also to work with propane. Finally, China will also implement a substantial technical assistance component, research in how to apply flammable refrigerants in domestic homes. And we believe that this particular technical assistance component will be of value for the rest of the world. Then what is the situation in West Asia? West Asia is typically the countries around the Persian Gulf, or the GCC countries. They are all characterized by having very hot climate in summer. They need definitely air conditioning, and they account for about 15% of the global market of air conditioner. However, we don't have a real applicable technology for this reason. In parallel, all these countries are now introducing energy efficiency standards both for houses, buildings, and also for products. This piece of modern art shows the energy efficiency of an air conditioner, and you will see on the x-axis that is the condensing temperature. The higher ambient temperature you have, the higher condensing temperature you will have in the air conditioner. On the y-axis you have the energy efficiency or coefficient of performance, as we call it. These curves are all in relation to the substance that we phase out, namely HCFC-22, and you will see that none of them performs as good as the substance that we are phasing out. However, the yellow one on top, that is the propane, which is fairly close to the substance we phase out, and I believe with small technicalities we can easily get to the same energy efficiency or maybe even better. But you will see the green line, which is called HFC 410, which is the substance that industry actually selected by themselves in developed countries. And you will see that with high ambient temperature, this gas performs very badly. And therefore, it's not acceptable in these countries. We tried to figure out how to overcome this, and we requested small amount of funding to evaluate potential candidates that have minimal impact on the global climate. We call the project Praha, like the capital in Czech Republic, but it means promoting low GWP refrigerants for the air conditioning sector in high ambient countries. This is a joint UNEP and UNIDO project that was approved this April, and we got $400,000 to investigate the situation. The main purpose is that we will build prototypes and we will have them independently tested, and we will utilize all available low GWP technologies. This project ended up having a substantial outreach, and we have all manufacturing companies in West Asia involved in this project. We have made a matrix, what kind of prototypes will be used for what kind of products, and I just put it here. I will not go into the technicalities on different types of air conditioner. But we will test with HCFC-32, with blends, and with propane or R290. The South-South component comes in because Chinese companies were very interested in our activities in West Asia, and they joined us from the very beginning in the technical symposiums we held in Dubai. And right now, they have agreed to give technical assistance to West Asian companies. the compressor manufacturers in China also agreed to provide free of charge compressors for building prototypes with the West Asian companies. And actually, starting by tomorrow, we will have a study tour from West Asia to China, where these companies will attend a conference by the Industry Association in China, as well as visit 3 of the manufacturing companies, just to build the relationship between West Asia and China. Our project will be terminated by the end of 2014. Okay, I'm running out of time, so I have only 2 slides left. On top of the project we are doing in West Asia, we have also identified a couple of other opportunities for South-South cooperation. One is initially in Africa. We have found out that propane, or R290, is commonly used as a drop-in by the refrigeration service technicians. Obviously, if you don't use a flammable gas in a safe manner, that could cause an accident which will bring even the big China project at risk. We have taken our initiative to buy the real propane air conditioner from China, and we are sending them to different countries in Africa where they will be used for training of technicians so that they know exactly how an air conditioner should look like if it should operate with a flammable gas. After Africa, we will focus also on Central and Latin America, where we have also seen indication that this is being practiced. Another opportunity that came to our knowledge recently is that there is a great potential for export, either of air conditioner or assembled kits or even components. We believe China can play a major role in this, and just a couple of weeks ago I met with the Indian Industry Association, and they were all asking for such cooperation. So this is something that we will discuss with the Chinese people tomorrow at the conference in Wuxi, and I believe that could be another example. And that was my last slide. I think I'm within the time frame. I'm sorry I have to leave for the airport shortly so that I can catch the meeting in China, but I think the Master of Ceremony will instruct.
So
Thank you.
Unfortunately, Mr. Nielsen can't stay with us until the Q&A at the end, but if anyone has a question for him now, if there are any questions from the audience, he can take those now. Last chance. No. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Next up, we have Dr. Permut Gupta, the director from the Cleaner Production Center in Cambodia, and he'll be sharing some of our work out there in the brick sector and also the rice sector. So, Mr. Gupta, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Catherine. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I will be sharing with you some of the examples of technology transfer, South-South technology transfer, especially in least developing countries. So I will spend a little bit less time in the first part, and I will try to spend more time in the second part. What are the area of the focus for technology transfer? The first important thing, especially in developing and least developing country, what do they need? What is the need? What type of technology they need? What are the gaps in the technology? Then where this technology is available? What is about the technology information? Then what are the technology enabling environment for technology transfer? What mechanism is required, especially for South-South cooperation? Then we need capacity building, not only to transfer, but also to sustain the technology, transfer technology. And last but not least, we need mechanism for technology transfer, especially for financing. Financing is one important part of technology transfer. Now, I will a little bit skip this one. I will go why we are talking about South-South technology cooperation. Now, in South-South, we share, South countries, they share common concern and common expertise. The need of the South or need of developing or least developing countries is much more similar to the south rather than to the north. So that is why under this project, what I am sharing with you, we have the focus of transfer of technology from south to south, which are more cost economic, which are more sustainable, which has better after-sale services, and of course, they can talk a little bit more in the common sense. Okay, we have 5 sectors. Out of 5 sectors, due to time, we will share only 2 sectors. One is construction sector, brick manufacturing in Cambodia, which is a very important sector for energy. Second is rice milling, which is the most important sector for agriculture processing in Cambodia. Why we are talking the brick sector traditionally in Cambodia, they use wood as the fuel for brick making. To produce 1 billion of brick per year, which is last year, they use 1 million cubic meter of wood. So there are 2 concerns. One concern is very high energy consumption, which is 300% as compared to the neighboring countries, Vietnam, India, China. Second thing, depleting resources of the wood. From where they will bring the wood? 1 million cubic meter per year. Country has no coal, no oil. The only resource is agricultural residue. So under this project, the technology transfer was done from Vietnam. The type of kiln which you consume almost 1/3 of the fuel. And the fuel is replaced 100% by waste agricultural residue biomass, which is rice husk in place of wood. I will briefly show you one of the slides. The first picture you see, it is the old Hoffman kiln. It has 3 specific features, this kiln. The cycle is 30 days. So what brick I put today, it comes out after 30 days. Energy consumption is very high, 6 megajoule compared to 1.5 megajoule we use in India, China, Vietnam, all these countries. Second thing, in this we can use only wood. We cannot use rice husk in this Hoffman kiln. And during rainy season, no brick can be produced. So these were the basic feature of this technology. So technology transfer was done from Vietnam. So a group of industrialists were taken to Vietnam where they are using this high draft fast baking kiln where the baking period is only 6 hours compared to 30 days, 6 hours. Energy consumption is only 30% and baking period is 6 hours. So daily you produce brick. So basically you don't get the brick after 1 month, you get after every 6 hours you get the brick. So with this technology, what the basic features, there was 50% reduction in fuel consumption, including molding, because molding consumption was increased. I will come to that. Little bit increased due to modern molding. There was 53% reduction in biogenic GHG reduction, 80% reduction in rejection rate, which was very important. In old Hoffman kiln, there was 22% rejection rate, overbaked or underbaked kiln. In this new kiln, rejection rate is hardly 3%. So 80% rejection in, then firing time of course reduced. And most important thing here was that during monsoon time, this kiln worked all 24 years and one kiln has replaced almost 6 old kiln with the same production in one total production for 1 year. The only issue was electricity. Now, this traditionally, the molding was done by hand. Then it was replaced by using diesel, using semi-automatic diesel machine, which make one brick, 1 by 1. So it was replaced by modern molding technology, which is also from Vietnam, which produced 10,000 brick per hour. But this technology needs electricity. Cambodia has no electricity. Electricity price range from 30 cents to $1 per kilowatt. Now for modern molding machine, how to use electricity, which is very expensive. So what was done in this project, all these brick kiln, they installed gasifier using waste agricultural residue, either rice husk or waste wood, and 70% of the electricity was generated by biomass and 30% was supplemented by diesel. So the cost and quality, Now this brick, before this molding was 3 kilogram each brick. After this new molding, it is 1.6 kilogram. So it has saved almost 30 to 40% of soil, 30 to 50% of fuel, and brick quality is much better, and baking time is much faster, and is also better insulation when you make the wall, because it has 4 holes into the wall. But the thing which I wanted to share with you, this technology was implemented, I think, 1.5 years back. In 1.5 years, from one kiln, what has been reported so far by Ministry of Industry, Mines and Energy, 220 kilns has come up in Cambodia without support from UNIDO or without any financial support. First kiln was supported by UNIDO and Jeff, but other 219, they have come on their own due to their financial, economical, and social impact. The second case is rice mills. Cambodia is a rice producer country. They produce 10 million ton of paddy every year. They consume only 5 million. So 5 million paddy is surplus. Unfortunate part is that they don't export rice, they export paddy. So paddy is exported to Thailand and to Vietnam. Now government of Cambodia has banned export of paddy, and they are promoting export of rice. So milling section, rice milling sector has to be modernized. They have to meet the quality of the export, rice export, and it has to be efficient. Comparing the processing cost, when I was comparing with Vietnam, the processing cost was almost 3 times higher due to high energy cost, and they were focusing only on diesel. This sector alone consumed 180,000 ton of diesel oil for processing, and they generate 2 million ton of rice husk, which is almost unused or wasted. This 2 million ton of rice husk can produce is equal to 700,000 ton of oil equivalent, and it can produce theoretically the 80% requirement of the country if we generate energy from this rice husk. So what was done in this sector? The total energy was replaced from diesel oil based to electricity based, and electricity was generated by using rice husk based gasifier. The technology was imported from India, which are one of the leader into this fine mass biomass based gasifier, and it was adopted in Cambodia. Now we have 22 manufacturer of gasifier. They manufacture in Cambodia. It is no more imported from India, and the cost has come down almost less than half. Now, to improve the quality of the rice, if we have to export, paddy has to be dried. Traditionally in Cambodia, there was sun drying. Paddy was done by sun drying, so where the broken percentage is high, mold and fungus infection, which is not acceptable for export. So one technology which was from PRC China was paddy dryer. Paddy dryer using biomass, using rice husk. No electricity, no diesel, only biomass. So this technology was imported from China. And with this technology, the production has increased by 10% yield, broken rice. Quality of rice is much better, except little bit energy consumption has increased. We need conveyor, we need dryer. So specific energy consumption has little bit gone up. For energy, as I discussed with you, they have high efficiency fine mass gasifier with better cleaning efficiency. As compared to the earlier gasifier we were using in Cambodia, having 10 to 12% efficiency, the new gasifier now has up to 15% efficiency. I will not go detail into this. The third one was, this is important, the existing technology in Cambodia is the single belt drive. There is one diesel engine which drives a single belt, and with single belt all the rice milling equipments are driven. Highly inefficient, loss of energy losses, and consumption of diesel oil. So this technology was tried and attempted. It was expensive technology. So first technology costed around $2 million. This technology was also transferred from Vietnam. The reason is the relation, social and political relation between Cambodia and Vietnam. So they are much more comfortable for Vietnamese technologies, which is easy to operate and easy for after-sale service. This first technology, it costed $2 million. Initially, rice mill owner or rice mill association were a little bit apprehensive that is a high cost, $2 million. But looking at this technology, the export, the quality of the product, energy efficiency, the payback of this first company was 17 months. And I myself was surprised when after 2 years I came to know that more than 20% of the big or medium rice mill in Cambodia, they have gone for technology change. And 80% of them are using the technology which was transferred during this project from Vietnam, except 1 or 2 companies which has gone for high efficiency technology from Japan, which is very expensive. Now, I will not go much detail into this. Only thing, important thing which I would like to share with you is what were the tools used for multiplier effect. The demonstration was done only in 52 companies, but demonstration in 52 companies is not enough. How to multiply it and what were the tools used through which these results achieved, ecological, economical and social benefit of this technology transfer were shared and achieved. And this is very important, and I think if we have time, my time is finished, we will like to a little bit spend more time the different tools used to widespread the achievement from this technology transfer from south to south. Thank you very much.
Dr. Gupta, thank you very much for this, these excellent examples of South-South cooperation and technology transfer from China, India and Vietnam to Cambodia. As Dr. Gupta mentioned earlier, these are just 2 of the sectors that he has worked in. There are another 3 sectors, and there's a lot more pilots, a lot more work that's been done in case studies. And if you have any questions, then I think you'd be very interested to get some feedback from you during the Q&A. Now I would like to, I think it would be good to move on to the next presentation, which is an example from the host country, Kenya, and we have 2 speakers. The first is Ms. Jane Nyakango, the director of the Cleaner Production Center here in Kenya. So, Ms. Nyakango, the floor is yours.
I'm so tall. Okay, I was just saying that I'm so tall, but I think I'll make do with the mic the way it is. Dr. Gupta, that was a very nice presentation. I just came actually 1 hour ago from presenting at the UNOPS training on sustainable procurement. And one of the questions that they asked me, actually the request that they made to us within the resource efficient and cleaner production fraternity is that we give them a list of suppliers or vendors of these green technologies so that they can have it in their database, but also to forge more linkages with them so that we can help them in terms of technical evaluation of their procurement goods. So I think we have more to do beyond the industries themselves, and it was quite challenging for me. Trying to figure out. Okay, mine is very quick. About 5 slides or so, just giving really the context in Kenya and the direction we are moving. You know that we came from the Rio plus 20, and the text is that we want a future that is an inclusive green economy. And as a country, what we have done at the macro level, we've actually we have developed, in 2012, we did do a green economy scoping study for Kenya that gave us alternative scenarios to 2030 when we hope to be a newly industrializing country. So that has actually given us the direction we should be taking to transit from a brown economy to a green economy. And now 2013, what we are doing, we have already actually started on developing a green economy strategy and roadmap. And we are looking at mainstreaming sustainable consumption and production within the green economy country roadmap, because we feel that this really has been lacking in Kenya. We have been promoting resource efficient and cleaner production for the last 12 years, but we feel that at the highest level, we have not had really sufficient support, but now it is coming, and we think that we should be achieving better results than we have done in the past. And my organization, the Cleaner Production Center, therefore is playing a key role in terms of mainstreaming the sustainable consumption and production within the green economy strategy and roadmap. These are the activities that we as a center do in terms of training, and then assisting enterprises to adopt resource efficient and cleaner production. We live and dream greening businesses, looking at the energy productivity, water productivity, material productivity, and pollution intensity reduction. And we have, over this time that we've been in existence, we've been able to work with over 400 companies, and they are all in those many sectors that you can see there: sugar, tea, really a lot of agro-processing, chemical. We've gone to service, healthcare, education, and all that, so that at least each one of them, we've had an impact. So you can see that in terms of energy reduction, most of these sectors that we have worked with, there has been a reduction in terms of energy consumption in the range of 30 to 40%, actually with very little change in technology. But in others, you find that at the higher level, you can again get another 20% or so with changes in technology. And you can see we have several there that we've had to propose to them, and they have implemented. And water, the same, you can see again 25 to 30% for any typical industry or enterprise that is achieved. Similarly, you look at material use reduction, again in that range, and waste reduction the same. And for our enterprises here, a medium, small to medium enterprise, all those interventions have actually led to economic savings, which you can see range from about $50,000 US to about $100,000 US per month, and which is quite significant for the companies, and really this is what sustains them to participate in our programs. Because my colleague Mr. Ben Rotich is going to give a specific case study, mine is going to be a little general, because I was told that I have only 5 minutes, but I think I will be able to finish within 6 minutes or so. So when we look at these companies that we have worked with, in terms of now the changes in technology, whether you're looking at textile companies, or you're looking at tea factories or sugar companies, we find that actually most of the technologies you can see comes from India. Half of the technology that you find in the industries, or the newer technologies that we propose to the industries, they prefer sourcing from India. But we are seeing a trend where some of it is coming from China, about 35%, and the rest, 20%, is coming from other countries like Korea, Italy. So you can see we have one factory that we worked with in Eldoret, the knitting machines, high efficient knitting machines coming from China. Then we have what my colleague is going to present on the green tea leaf conveyancing system that was procured from India, that is trying to displace the transportation of tea leaves using trucks. You can see boilers and treatment plants are actually also coming from India. We have others like from Korea. We have a tannery in one city in Kenya that now procured the one machine there that was meant to prevent the hair on the hides and skins getting into the wastewater and going to cause pollution. But we found that they had issues with that in terms of technology support. The machine wasn't able to work, and the repairs of that machine, or the servicing of that machine, was a challenge. So after 3 minutes, actually I'll finish within 2 minutes. So we can see that, and therefore we see that the South-South cooperation in terms of technology transfer, technology support is very important, not only in Kenya but also in the East African region. That's the end of my presentation.
Mr. Kango, thank you very much for this overview of the work that has been done in green growth, sustainable consumption and production, and then also the work by the Cleaner Production Centre in Kenya. As Ms. Nkango mentioned just now, we now have a specific case study of the transfer of ropeway technology from India to Kenya to promote greening of the tea sector. So I would like to hand over the floor now to Mr. Ben Rotic, Assistant Factory Manager of the Kutumbe Tea Factory.
Thank you, Catherine. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Finlays is one among the 400 factories who are being supported by the Kenya National Cleaner Production. I'll just go quickly to introduction. At one point, I will be giving some slides for the ropeway technology, how we convey the tea from the tea fields to the factory. Finlays is a diversified agro-business that takes a leadership role in sustainability. We embraced resource efficiency cleaner production, which was given to us by the Kenya National Cleaner Production to be able to drive our sustainability objectives. The group has established itself as a reliable, responsible, innovative, and sustainable producer with a deep knowledge and passion for our products. Sustainability in Finlays is fundamental to the group, and it lies actually at the heart of what Finlays does and stands for. It is Kenya's largest agricultural export group, employing over 21,000 people and annually exporting 300 million stem of flowers, 7 million of vegetables, 26,000 of black tea, and 3 million tea extracts. The organization is located in Nairobi, Naivasha, Kericho, Mount Kenya, and Mombasa. And we work with 1,200 vegetable outgrowers and 10,000 tea growers. The ropeway technology, just to probably give a video link so that we actually understand. Just a slide. Sorry. Sorry. Right, so that you see is the factory. The ropeway, the rope you see there, you can see the tea coming from the field. That chain is 11 kilometers to the field. So we have a 22-kilometer loop of the chain. So the chain goes in to cover 600 acres of tea plantations, and we harvest 60,000 kilos of green leaf from one particular estate. We have 9 estates in Finlays, Kericho, and so we have been successful. We have successfully implemented the ropeway technology to convey all the tea that we pluck from one estate. We are yet to roll out to the 8 remaining estates because their technology is very expensive. Our investment so far to people to fund one estate is 60 million. So we are yet to really find funds and be able to implement to the other 8 states. Going on. The ropeway conveyance technology is a new concept of transport of materials by means of conveying the items from the field to the factory. The use of this technology is actually seen as providing an alternative means of transport, so that actually we phase out the use of transport of lorries, which we were using initially. This technology has drastically reduced the cost of transport and generation of greenhouse gas emission. So far, the use of ropeway transport has seen a reduction of lorries in one tea farm of 600 acres, that is harvesting 60,000, as explained, per day, from 6 lorries to 2. In the driving of this chain is by a 75 kilowatt motor, and at the moment we are using electricity from Kenya Power, to be able to drive the chain. We at the moment installing a 30 kilowatt grid connected PV system, and we'll have 2 of them, and you can see that there, just on your left. And the house on your right is actually the house at the moment that we're trying to install the solar panels. These will be able to drive the chain without using the Kenya Power. The social and economic benefits for the ropeway technology was installed to reduce the fleet of vehicles used to transport green leaves from the estate to the factory. This technology centers on reduction of traffic on roads and around the catchment areas. This leads to reduced carbon generation, reduced cost of road maintenance, and reduced environmental degradation by use of heavy motor vehicles. The carbon intensity has reduced by 10% from the base year 2011 compared to 2012. Our baseline was 2010. You'll be able to see that in the next slide. The carbon intensity, therefore, we see here that in the figures you see on the green background, the carbon generated year 1, year 2, year 3, year 1 being 2010, 2011 being year 2, and 2012 being year 3, we have been able to reduce our carbon emission by 10%. We've also been able to reduce the cost of transport. A cost-benefit analysis, which was done between the year 2012, December, to this year, August, showed a net benefit of 23 million, and this is approximately about 2.6 million shillings saved per month. The total capital invested to date is 60 million for one particular estate to be able to transport leaf for 600 acres. That's about 60,000 kilos per day. We are yet to roll out to the other 8 estates. We are, of course, anticipating that in the next future, as soon as we roll out, we'll be able to make a big savings. I have 3 minutes to finish. I have about 1 or 2 slides to finish. Employment. Additional technical and non-technical workers have been employed to operate the system. At the moment, the ropeway facility provides further direct employment for at least 40 people. Accidents as well has been reduced because the number of vehicles as well has been reduced. The reduction of costs of maintenance as well has reduced because of course, no vehicles. Improved road conditions. The company is funding the construction of or improvement of existing feeder roads to the leaf shelter collection points. In many cases, building leaf collection sheds has also meant construction or improving access roads to supply tea farms. Education. With improved savings both in terms of leaf transport, reduced fuel consumption and road maintenance costs, the company was able to inject some of the profits in social responsibility to the community within which it works. These include the construction of a new block with an office and 2 classrooms, plus staff quarters for one of our secondary schools, called Marinyan. Many local children have benefited from the new facility. Several other schools within the states have also been supported to their facilities and ongoing budget assistance for basic repairs and maintenance. Savings were also used to sponsor children of employees and also those from neighboring districts to go to colleges and universities. The healthcare. The company has upgraded the facility of a health center within the states that actually we've had installed the ropeway. This facility supports the employees, the dependents, and the neighboring communities. The company pays for the salaries for the staff, the clinical officer that we've employed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roddick. Mr. Roddick actually travelled 300 kilometres from Kuroko by car to be here with us today, and it's been excellent to hear from him firsthand the work of Finlay's Kitumbe Tea Factory, their strong sense of social responsibility and all the work they've done, so thank you for that. Next, I would like to move on to another example from Turkey, their cooperation with JICA in training in energy management in Central Asia. And so I would like to pass the floor now to Mr. Makato Asai from JICA, who will present the solution in more detail.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much, Catherine. And then also thank you very much for the presenter from Kenya. That was really awesome. I was so amazed. Well, my name is Makoto Asai from Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, from the Office of Global Issues and Development and Partnership. Obviously, I'm not the green industry expert, nor that I was not directly involved in this solution. However, I'm representing the team, our team, that who analyzes the good practices of JICA worldwide, and then also my office, and then who collects the information and knowledge is accumulating from it. Initially, I was to make the joint presentation with my partner, Turkish the counterparts, Mr. Topkam, and unfortunately, at the very last minute, and he has to remain in Turkey to engage in their urgent assignment. So I will do my own best and to introduce this solution. This solution is about energy efficiency improvements. And then the building block of this solution is a Turkish Center of Excellence, which is a National Energy Conservation Center, NACC. And this is also the case of ours, South-South and, triangular cooperations, which has a history, a background of bilateral cooperations and resulting into the triangular cooperations. And showing that our initial input or contributions leads to become the scaled up. I'm trying to be very quick, so I make a presentation on following 3 points about the facts and the history and the success factors. First one. These solutions, we have the 3 partners, and the first one is Turkey, and then who share their knowledges with their neighboring countries like Western Central Asia or Black Sea regions and a country in Eastern Europe. While the JICA is supporting the Turkey, providing their knowledge and sharing to these countries, and then also in the area of preparation of training opportunities, and then also that we are supporting those beneficiary countries to deliver the information and then providing the logistical support so that this training opportunity will be conducted very successfully. And from year 2002, NECC Turkey is started their international triangular training program, and up to now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5-phase program has been ongoing, and then even this year they are planning to have the new phase of training. More than 200 energy efficiency managers or officials in charge of reducing energy consumption in their respective countries are participated, and beneficiary countries is counted up to over 20 countries. Typical training course offered by Turkey is for 2 weeks course, and then 1 week of the classroom lecture type, and another 1 week of practical lessons. And then in their dedicated training facility, which is equipped with typical common instruments like a steam boiler and a combustion furnace and a lighting and a fans and a pumps and a steam traps, and using those training equipments, they are providing low cost, handy technology to reduce their the energy consumptions. This is a combustion furnace, and then this is, actually I have no idea. Another course is offered by the Turkey, and those NICC is hosting to international seminar with a member country of Black Sea Economic Cooperations, and that is a political kind of economic cooperation framework, and they are offering these training courses in relation with the outcome of the BSEC agreement or declarations that those member countries is trying to reduce their energy consumption and then also improving their energy efficiency as a core agenda, core common agenda for corporations. The country in these two international seminars, the Turkey is sharing their experience in energy management certificate in a program and system, so that they're trying to raise the awareness of the nationals and the factories, industries to promote their energy efficiency improvements. Well, National Energy Conservation Center, NECC of Turkey, is really excellent in this area. However, that capacity hasn't been developed overnight. Well, there has been the long history of the efforts made in Turkey, initiated by the government of Turkey, responding to the energy crisis. We know that in 70s, and that is a starting point. And this center has been established in 1992. Even before the establishment of this center, international community has extended the support. UNIDO is one of them, and the World Bank, and Japan as well. And in 1995, the government of Turkey introduced this, energy efficiency regulations for the first time in the history. This regulation is quite similar to the one of Japan, because those officials who visited Japan, learning from us, because Japan is also the resource poor country. Our energy consumption is highly dependent on the imported energy resources. And our current energy dependency goes up to 80% if we can omit nuclear power, it goes up to the 96%, while the Turkey is 70% dependent onto the imported energy. So that we have the common problem and the challenges. So and Turkey is the highly appreciated our experience practice in Japan. Our recent technical cooperation began in year 2000. And even before that, as I said, that we have been offering the training opportunity to the government officials of the Turkey. That technical cooperation from 2000 and 2005 had the three main objectives. That one is trying to develop the training capacity of NECC, which is a mandated, main core mandate of the center, to the factory manager who are in charge of the energy efficiency. And then also trying to develop the capacity of the center in auditing energy. And the auditing means to making a visit and make a consultations, advising, providing the advice to the factory, so that those factory trying to helping those or the factory to reduce their consumption, energy consumption. Finally, also this project is trying to promote policy making and promotion in the Turkey. I'm sorry, the picture was not the beautiful as it's supposed to be, but this is one of the equipment we provided at the center. To the center, and then also which is used in the training program I mentioned. The picture at the right-hand top is the scene of energy auditing. Japanese experts and NICC staff make a visit to the factory in the field of textile, iron and steel, and the food, ceramics, and the paper pulp industries, which is a larger energy consuming industrial establishments in the Turkey. The two photos at the bottom is some of the achievements made out of those factory visit. Those experts made advice into the one factory that about the usage of application of partial lighting. So and then also they introducing the high reflection seating, so that that with the less number of the fluorescent light, but then maintaining the same brightness in the factory. Another example is one famous international company, Vitra, based in Ankara, which is producing the sanitary warehouse, and then they reduced 25% of their energy consumption in the last 5 years after receiving the advice from the center. Now, this is my final part of the presentations. These three parties, and then the success of these solutions depends on, first, the common interest and the common challenges between Turkey and the 20 beneficiary countries. Because they are commonly and highly motivated to tackle energy efficiency, so they are very serious about learning and then also providing their past experiences and good practices. Second factor I have to point out is the leadership and the commitment of the government of Turkey. That with the background, with the background of the long history of the efforts, their efforts in Turkey, they build up their very much confidence in the field of energy saving, so that they committed to share their knowledges to the neighbor country. And then Black Sea Economic Cooperation is another example of the leadership of showing that Turkey's initiatives, and that the BSEC was formulated in 1992, if I'm correct, that with the leadership of the initiatives of the Turkish government. Last one is the external partners and who have provided support in building the capacity of the government of Turkey, particularly the ECC, for the longer period. For example, the Japan JICA has been working with them in building their capacity for the last quarter of the century, and so that we are very much happy and proud of the center is now leading the whole activity in this field. Well, this is my last slide. This is the latest publication, our latest publications, and this solution is detailed in this book, and then our printing was just finished in last Friday. Some limited number of copies was available there, and then also at our exhibition booth there. In 2 weeks' time, that will be available in the web. Thank you very much for listening.
Mr. Osai, thank you very much for your presentation. It was very interesting, and also thank you for stepping in at the last moment to deliver it. I think there's a lot of work that's been going on here. As Mr. Osai mentioned, cooperation between JICA and the Turkish Energy Conservation Center dates back to 2000, and in fact, back to the 1990s, and this sharing of this experience through the South-South mechanism with 20 other countries is really excellent and really commendable work. Thank you very much. Next up, I would like to invite my colleague, Ms. Carolina Gonzalez, to present some of the work that UNIDO has been doing with counterparts in the MENA region. So, Ms. Gonzalez, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Catherine, and thank you to all of you for being here, for coming to listen to this session. I will be presenting one of UNIDO's programs, the TEST methodology, and TEST stands for Transfer of Environmentally Sound Technologies. Just an overview of the presentation. First, I'll try to go briefly through the methodology. Then I will present one of our projects, the MedTest project, and some of the case studies and results. And finally, our way forward in terms of replication and upscaling. The TEST methodology is one of the programs within the overall green industry that was previously described by Mr. Leuenberger. It is another tool that we use to help industries decouple economic growth from resource depletion. The overall objective of the TEST methodology is to support the sound management of resource use at priority industrial hotspots so that they can minimize their use of resources and maximize their productivity. And we aim to do this through the demonstration of best practices, application of clean technologies, and there's a strong focus on capacity building. Ultimately, our message to industries here is that they can achieve economic benefit by introducing environmental practices. They can increase their productivity and they can be more competitive. This methodology was developed for 5 countries in the Danube River Basin. One of the things that I like most about this approach is that it can be applied in a wide variety of scenarios. Here you can see different countries where we have applied tests successfully. And so you can see it has a broad range of application. As I mentioned, it was developed in 2000 in 5 countries of the Danube River Basin. It is oriented primarily towards SMEs, although it can be applied to larger industries. We tend to work more with SMEs. And it consists basically of 5 management tools. And these are applied in an integrated manner so that the companies can adopt environmental practices. These are the 5 tools. I will go through them very briefly. First is resource efficiency and cleaner production. This is something that UNIDO has worked in a long time in cooperation with UNEP. We also have introduced environmental management systems. Now this can be ISO 14000 or some other management systems. We have environmental management accounting. This helps industries account for their environmental costs, and it shows them not just the more obvious costs, like perhaps your environmental permit, but some hidden costs that they don't realize are there and that can help them ultimately save money. Then we have environmentally sound technologies. These are the large investment technologies that a company could need. In resource efficiency and cleaner production, we tend to do more low-hanging fruit, things that are lower investment, a quick return. But sometimes this isn't enough, so then you have to go to the higher investments through environmentally sound technologies. And in this area, the projects don't necessarily purchase the equipment, but we help companies identify what their needs are and what financing mechanisms they can look into. And the last tool is corporate social responsibility. Just an overview of what our approach is, just to show you that it's applied in a stepwise manner, not all at once. In the phase 1, we have these 3 tools, and this helps the company kind of gain trust in the program. They can see quicker benefits, results, and then that helps them go into the larger investments and adopt larger strategies. Some of the fundamentals of the test program. One of the key points is that it links sustainability to core business practices, strategies. So companies don't see sustainability as an abstract concept, but something that they can apply directly to their operations and something that they can be involved with in their countries. It's not left to the government or to some other institution. It relies heavily on benchmarking, so we can see what other countries are doing, what other industries are, what best practices are applied in other industries, and then this can be applied in the industries we work with so that they can see what the options are and see that these can be achieved. Just briefly, it's a flexible approach. It can be applied in different company sizes and starting from different baselines. And as I mentioned before, an important aspect is identifying or linking to existing financing schemes so that the companies aren't left on their own necessarily to do these large investments. If the financing mechanisms are available, we try to link them. Now to talk specifically about our MedTest project. The overall objective was to build national capacities in UNIDO test integrated approach and conduct pilot projects within industrial areas affecting the Mediterranean basin. Basically, we want to reduce the impact to the Mediterranean Sea by working with industrial hotspots that have a direct impact on the sea. That was one of the main goals. We worked in 3 countries, Tunisia, Morocco, Egypt. There was overall funding of $2.1 million given by the Global Environmental Facility and the Italian government. We worked with 43 industries in 7 industrial sectors, and this completed last year. At the bottom, I have the website of the project, and I encourage you to go there. We have a publication on each, a case study on each industry that we worked with, and a brochure that describes the overall results. I just wanted to highlight here that this is, it's important to note that it's a voluntary. The companies must participate on a voluntary manner. You can't force them. They also have to give cash co-financing to demonstrate their commitment and interest in participating in this program. And it's also important to work with companies that are financially viable so that halfway during the program they don't have to declare bankruptcy and that you can really obtain the environmental benefits. It's also important to have a management commitment because many of the decisions for higher investments or even mid-sized investments needs to come from them. Our general approach for this methodology or program is it relies heavily on capacity building. We train on the test initiative service providers in the countries, as well as the industries that will be applying the test methodology so that they know what they're getting into. And by training the service providers, we leave the expertise in the countries, and so that they are later able to replicate it in other industries and other sectors. And this also helps create a network of experts in the region which can exchange experiences. Next, we do the pilot demonstrations where we apply the 5 tools. It's a straight up pilot cases that we have. And lastly, very important and not to be left aside is the consolidation of the results and then disseminating this information. It's very good that this works on an individual industrial level, but if we don't share the results and encourage other industries and countries to participate, then they become isolated success stories. As I mentioned, we worked with 3 countries, and these are the sectors that we worked with. One of the first tools that we apply is resource efficiency and cleaner production. I wanted to highlight here, these are some examples of some of the measures that were introduced. A lot of these measures can be applied in many of the countries obtaining similar results, especially if they're in the same sector. So it's not like there's no need to recreate the wheel. The tools are there, and many times the industries just need to be shown it or see that it applies to their own cases. Yes, I won't go into details there. Something I found very interesting is in this MedTest project, we identified around 700 cleaner production measures. From these, you can see that the vast majority were implemented during the project. Only a few were discarded, and others were retained for study for further consideration. Also very important is the short payback period of under 6 months for over 50% of the measures. This also encourages companies to keep applying these measures, and it's not a one-time deal. You have to keep at it over and over, learn from your mistakes or from your success. Next, I will go into the case studies. This is one from a food sector. This is a company that processes tomatoes. I wanted to highlight here that one of the measures that they implemented was based on a company design. It was something relatively simple, modification of a nozzle, but this helped improve the overall quality of the finished product and reduce overall water consumption by 40%. Another measure was the valorization of byproducts. Waste from the tomato refinement is being sold to farmers to enrich animal fodder. And also you have the purchase of new equipment. Something as simple as a water tank helped them use their well water more efficiently and protect some of their pumps. Here you can see the overall water savings were about 130,000 cubic meters per year between these measures and a few others that they implemented. And this is not a negligible, it's a significant improvement, and it has a significant impact on its immediate environment or the environment. Next, we have a leather company. They do ovine, goat, and bovine skins for both local and international market. By reusing their chemical, they were able to recover chromium sulfate and replace 46% of new chromium. This allowed for a reduction in 24 tons per year of chromium that would have otherwise been discharged into the sludge. They also purchased some equipment, and this allowed them to reduce the salt that they had to purchase and that was emitted, and also reduction in chlorides. The third and last example is from the textile sector. This was a jean production company, and they do some bleaching. By adapting their existing equipment and doing some modifications, they were able to save water. Also, by changing some of their programming and making it automated, they were able to reduce human error and reduce water consumption, thermal energy, and chemical products. I only have 3 minutes left, so I'll go quickly through these next 3 slides. These are also available on our website. And here you can see per country how much money, well, the size of the company, how much was invested by them, and how much they obtained in savings per year, as well as a reduction in water and energy as a percentage of the baseline where they started. Here we have for Morocco, and here we have Tunisia. To summarize the achievements, we worked with 6 national partner service providers, training 30 test trainers, which is the on-site capacity that we leave in the country. On the bottom right, you can see the hard figures of how much these companies were able to save in terms of money, water, and energy. Another important thing to highlight is that with the 2.1 million that this project had as funding, we were able to leverage approximately $20 million in private sector investment. This is the private sector contributing to the environment in their countries. Lastly, I will go into our replication and upscaling. We are currently in the development phase of a SwitchMed demonstration and networking component. This is a 17 million euro project funded by the European Commission. It is implemented by UNIDO, and we work with other partners, including CPRAC and UNEP. We will be expanding from the 3 countries to 9 countries in the region, and it will have a duration of 4 years. The objective of the SwitchMed is to facilitate the shift towards sustainable consumption and production in the southern Mediterranean region. It is a larger program which includes policy, demonstration, and networking. Policy has already begun. It is being implemented by UNEP, and UNIDO will be doing demonstration and networking. Within demonstration, we have 3 subcomponents. MedTest is one of them, so we will be applying the same methodology here. And then we have green entrepreneurship and national action plans for sustainable consumption and production, which will be done by our partners. Lastly, I want to highlight the networking component. This is a very important component that assures that we don't have isolated results in each country, so that all the experiences can be exchanged between all these countries, and we can learn from each other's experience and expertise, and make sure that it's really a regional program and not just a country program. And with that, I will end. Thank you very much.
Great, sorry. A few technical problems we're trying to fix here. Thank you very much, Carolina, for that presentation. I think what I got from it, I think what we got from that, key takeaways were that with very minor changes with implementation of very simple cleaner production techniques, we can realize very significant changes, and these make sense at a company level. This is the first thing. And then secondly, that in order to have South-South cooperation, we need to have strong local institutions, and that by investing in capacity building, by building the capacity of the cleaning production centres and the other partners who helped implement this project, we can have replication, as she mentioned, that will take place in the next phase of the project, with the experience of these 43 companies being shared throughout another 9 countries and many more companies in the region. So thank you very much for that. Next up, I would like to invite Dr. Kele Mansoure, who will share the experience of Sierra Leone and India in a South-South cooperation project in the area of rural electrification. So Dr. Mansoure, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Wong. My project is on cellular lantern dissemination. For those of you that know about Sierra Leone, we're just recovering from a 10-year civil war, and the electricity infrastructure was completely damaged. Now we're starting from scratch to electrify our countries. And in Sierra Leone, we don't have any national grid. We have isolated grids, mostly in big towns and cities. In villages, it's crude methods of electrification, as these slides will show. page down. Okay. Yeah. So the project objective is the introduction of solar lantern charging stations in rural areas in Sierra Leone, in this case, Kichom village, located in the Cambia district. And there is no electrification in this part of the country. And there is no hope for an extension of the national grid to this part of the country. That's why we decided to go renewable. That's photovoltaic powered solar lanterns. And the sponsors of this project is the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy in India and the Energy and Resource Institute of India. Also involved in the project is a company from Laos called Sunlabob Renewable Energy. And the Indian government provided the funding while Terry supplied the equipment. And the project was implemented by Sunlabob with local technicians in Sierra Leone. And the project overview. You know, in Sierra Leone, you cannot believe this. It's less than 1% of the rural population has access to electricity. That's basic generators. Some of you are laughing, maybe you know about this country already. And the productivity and health of these countries, as you already know, are reduced by dependence on traditional fuels, which is highly affecting women and girls because they collect all the firewood in terms of domestic applications of energy, and they spend longer time in the house. So they are affected directly. So access to this energy has been taken seriously by the government of Sierra Leone. But what was obtaining in Kichom village, the pre-lantern period in Kichom, before UNIDO introduced lantern technology? You see the means of energy they were using? This kerosene lamp. And it's causing a lot of problems. Eye irritation, coughing, even some houses have burnt down as a result of careless use of this. Some people are also using short lights. You see the design here, down here? These young boys use batteries in a box and remove LED lights. In the villages, they call this pontima, that's Chinese light, because they get the LED lights from China, from the short lights they sell, importing from China. Remove the LED lights, do some small soldering, and have their lights. They use it for studying, selling at night, and they even use this LED system to electrify their homes. You know, maybe 4 to 6 LED, the top there, with switch connected to these batteries. But what's the problem with these batteries? They just dump them as litters in these villages. And we have no solid waste management programs in these villages. So what will happen? Soil and water will be contaminated with heavy metals, mercury, lead. You know the consequences, they are carcinogenic. And the one thing I saw in the villages, children play with these batteries as toys. You see them, old batteries disposed of. They put into their mouth, suck onto them. Because the parents don't even know the hazardous effects of these batteries. So look, people selling at night. In some of our villages, you even see this in big towns of Sierra Leone. Even here, I went somewhere last night in Nairobi, I saw there's electricity all over Nairobi. But with this food poisoning, in case the kerosene drops on the food, that's food they're selling at night. What will happen to the consumer? Serious problem. And then, with all these problems, the government of Sierra Leone decided to electrify rural areas somehow. And photovoltaic was recommended by the Ministry of Energy. Okay? Just after that conference, the conference that's mentioned here, multi-stakeholder conference, which was attended by UNIDO, staff from UNIDO office, UNIDO decided to go in collaboration with the Ministry of Energy to electrify some of the villages. And Kichom village is just a sample, and government intends replicating this idea I'm going to discuss now in other villages across Sierra Leone. So the solar lantern. Under this project, 6 solar lantern charging stations were set up in 6 different areas in Kichom village. Kichom is about 150 kilometers from Freetown. You can either go by the ocean, Atlantic Ocean, or by road. But the road from Cambia is very, very rugged. Anyway, so this is the setup here. You have 50 lanterns, 5 junction boxes, each junction box charging 10 lanterns, so 50 to 5 junction boxes, and 5 solar panels. Solar panels per one solar panel connected to 1 junction box. This is the setup. 6 of these setups in Kichom. And this, after they've been charged, we store in cupboards. This is the paramount chief, the head of the village, turning on the lanterns for the first time. And so mobile phone charging systems were also installed in this village. And here, the first picture demonstrating the use of the phone charging system and the paramount chief charging his phone. But this project, what happened? Terry, UNIDO decided to send 4 Sierra Leoneans, 2 technicians and 2 engineers to train in India. So these are the Sierra Leoneans at the Terry Institute, at the Terry Center in India. They were trained in basic solar lantern assembly and repairs, changing of fuse, just those basic skills, and the installation of solar panels. So these are the trainees, these pictures showing the Sierra Leoneans being trained, with the view that they will come back to Sierra Leone and train locals in the village to take care of the lanterns. That will lead to serious sustainability of the project, I'm sure. So site visit of the trainees, Sierra Leonean was while in India, they visited the solar sites, and in fact were asked to dismantle the entire system and reinstall by themselves, which they did. I know because I was there. So now training of locals. So these guys came back to India with this solar lantern supplied by Terry, and now they're training locals. See, here they're assembling the lanterns. They came in bits and pieces, okay? So they assembled the lanterns, and here they've been trained, basic repairs, changing of, replacements of spare parts, fuses and the like. And down here, training about 18 people from the village in basic solar installation. See? About 50-50. Sierra Leone, the women are asking for 30% in everything, but we gave them 50% here. So we trained 50 men, half men, half women, so it's 50-50. They were well trained, and in fact, they implemented the 6 charging stations in Kichom village. The training continues. See, training solar installation. This went into the night, using solar lantern here, up the roof. And then after that, the project was commissioned by the former head of Director General of UNIDO. He was there in the village, traveled all the way from Vienna. That's him here, Dr. Kande Mukela, and down here, officially opening the project, commissioning the project. And then project impacts, education. See, now we have night classes. Before there were no night classes. And in fact, this project increased attendance rates considerably. And the academic performance is increased according to the head teachers in that place, okay? The headmasters in schools. And in fact, right now they're trying to develop adult literacy classes at night. And you see, they told me success rates of students in public exams, from primary school to secondary school to university, was 0% in that place. People were failing. I don't know how true is that, but that's what I was told. But now it has increased to 60% since this project was implemented in this village. I don't know how true is that. And night classes, so they go to night classes, they stay after school and continue classes at night. But on weekends, because the school is about 3 kilometers from the town, they go to the teacher's house. So this night class in front of our house. And job creation. See, about 24 people are employed already. Okay? You have 3 operation and maintenance technicians and 1 security per center. 6 centers, 6 times 4, our 24, plus 7 committee members. Unfortunately, somehow they also put themselves on salary, on payroll. You know, they formed a committee to take care of the energy project. And the extension of business hours, because business hours, they need more helping hands. So they've employed more people, thus reducing the unemployment rate. Small and medium businesses using solar lamp here, and then carpenters now working into the night. This day, these guys, I was there in the village, they worked till 4 in the morning. All their backlogs, they cleared as carpenters. And this increase in total sales, according to these people, in this village. Health. They gave me a picture, a lady was in labor with one of these lamps, but I decided not to use it because I'm not a medical doctor, so I don't think I was free to use it. But now they're using it in health centers, in mosque, as I'll show you one picture of being used in a mosque. And qualified health staff told me they will not stay in kitchen because they were using these lamps. The first lamp I show you, the first slide I show you, these kerosene lamps, to deliver babies in the hospital, using candles to deliver babies. Well, now they're using these lamps. And they told me they will stay around because they're hoping that we'll take more electrification to kitchen with time. This is a mosque, prayers at night. Before they were not praying at night, now they're praying at night. Gender and poverty. This is in line, this project is in line with MDG 3. Promotion of gender equality and empowerment of women. And also with a newly introduced concept, the government of Sierra Leone, the president of Sierra Leone, Dr. Ernest Bai Koroma. That's Agenda for Prosperity. And this Agenda of Prosperity has a paper going with it called the PRSP, Poverty Reduction Paper. This project is also in line with this PRSP 3. So, what can we say? This meets global, regional, and national expectations, indicators. Okay? And it has been shown that the prosperous countries are those that have utilized the full potential of their population. So, the project's innovative approach of involving women in youth is a clear blueprint for sustainable economic development. Okay? And here, training local technicians and the like, some of the sustainabilities will help maintain the system, of course. Because the people being trained are from the locality, from Kichom itself. They stay in there. They have nowhere else to go. So they take care of the system. And the income from rented lanterns, they rent the lanterns every night, the lanterns, and from the phone, the charges from charging their phone, they used to sustain the system. And in fact, they also rent their phone. So for example, if someone does not have a phone, uses the phone of one of the operators at the center, make a call and pay some money for that. But what the beauty about it, there is 0% defaulter rate. Everybody paying. They're so happy about the project. Innovation, of course. Women in a purely 100% male-dominated world now doing technical work. It's innovative, in fact. It's very, very innovative. So, finally, the success factors. You can agree with me that the project is financially self-sustaining. Yeah? 0% defaulter rate, and people are paying. Income generated helps community development projects. They're also involved. In fact, right now they want 100 more lamps. Before I got here, they told me, bring 100 more lamps for us from Kenya. I said, no, I'm not. From India, I said, I'm not going to India, I'm going to Kenya. But I'll work on that. Okay? But the major problem they have is lack of lamps. That's why they asked me to take 100 more lamps to them. Because there are about 600 inhabitants in Kichop. There are 300 lamps. 6 stations, 50 per station, 50 times that is 300. It's not enough. The mosque alone needs about 5 lamps. The paramount chief, 5 lamps. Some households have 13 family members in a household. So the 300 lamps, not enough. That's one of the problems. Well, the project is going on perfectly. It's been implemented, and it's alongside the government agenda for prosperity. Thank you very much.
Dr. Mansouri, thank you very much. Very interesting project, innovative, with results that are self-sustaining and have created new opportunities for SMEs and also helped improve the livelihoods of the people in Sierra Leone, local communities, and amongst those particularly women and children. Thank you very much. Next up, I would like to invite Ms. Sivan Yari. She is the founder and president of Innovation Africa, and she'll be talking about rural electrification in Uganda, Malawi, Ethiopia, and Tanzania. Ms. Yari, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Karen. From the beginning. Go back. No. Oh, that's it. All right. Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. I'm the last presenter. Thank you for being here. And it's a real pleasure for me to come all the way from the US and from Israel to come and present to you what our organization, which is a non-profit organization, have done by using Israeli technologies in the most rural villages in Africa. The name of the organization is Innovation Africa, and as I mentioned, it's a non-profit organization. We are based in New York. We were very lucky that in the past year we have received the consultative status, ECOSAC status. We are now part of the United Nations Economic and Social Council. What we are doing, most of the work that we have done is using Israeli technologies, mostly solar technologies, and bringing it to the most remote villages in East Africa. So far, what we have done, we have completed 65 solar projects, and we are working in 4 countries. We have an office in Uganda, in Tanzania, in Malawi, and we've done a few projects in Ethiopia as well. Here's the list of all of the villages that we have powered with solar energy. As you can see, the first list is all of the schools, orphanages, medical clinics, and villages that we have powered with solar energy. We've done 39 of them in Uganda, 10 in Tanzania, in Ethiopia, and in Malawi. We are going to the most remote villages and bringing solar energy to the villages where there is more need. So far, we have helped 478,000 people. This is a very conservative number. Here, we only included the students at the school, the orphan in the orphanages, the people coming to the medical clinics, but we haven't included all of the villagers coming from the surrounding villages. So where are we operating? As I mentioned, the most remote villages, very far from the grid, where there is no access to water, electricity, where people are spending 2 to 3 hours a day looking for wood, where finding water is not easy, and if they find water, usually the water is not clean. This is a picture that really, this is part of this forum that shows clearly energy poverty in Africa. And that's the reason why Innovation Africa has decided to start with solar energy. We strongly believe that without energy, it's very hard to have any kind of development. Economic development, human development, energy is the mean for everything else. And we're going to try to prove it to you this afternoon. So what do? We get to villages where there is no water, the most remote. And we are bringing this very simple system. We bring the solar panels, We bring the machine to drill down to the aquifers. We install a solar pump and then a water tank. The water is then pumped from the aquifer, sent to the tank, and from the tank, through gravity, it goes to the water stations. Depending on the size of the village, we are installing between 3 to 4 water stations in the village, making sure that people have access to water near schools, near health clinics, and where there is most need in the village. We are pumping about 20,000 liters of water per day per village. So obviously for most of us who have been now in this forum for the past 2 days, what we are realizing after providing clean water to a village, the first thing, children, mostly girls, are now going to school. And funny enough, almost all the time, Innovation Africa is taking solar panels and installing it in the nearest primary school, because now the children don't have to look for water anymore. Now they have a chance to go to school. That's the first thing. The second is health. You can see that they are healthier. Clean water, they have access. The third, they're using the water all year to grow food, even during the dry season. The extra food is then sold in the market, allowing them to generate income. This village, for example, they have used the income to create a poultry farm. And now they're selling the eggs. Another village, they have bought 2 cows, and now they're selling the milk. So immediately, just by providing them access to water, you've seen that you have better education, better health, and certainly economic development inside the village. There is no say to mention that that village is probably the richest now in the district. This cost of the project is on average $30,000. Sometimes less, sometimes more, depending how deep is the aquifer. The deepest is the aquifer, more energy is needed, bigger the pump, and then more expensive it is. But it's a one-time cost that allows to pump 20,000 liters of water, helping about 1,000 people. Very simple, very efficient, and definitely has enormous impact on the villages. We also care in Innovation Africa about health clinics. We mentioned health clinics for the past 2 days. And usually what we are seeing where we are going to the most remote villages is that people are sitting down and waiting. There are no doctors, there are no vaccines and medicines, there is no light, no energy. And the reason why there is no vaccines and medicines, not because the government doesn't have, is because there is no place to store the vaccines and medicines. It gets spoiled. So what we are doing, we are coming with very simple 2 solar panels. We are installing it on top of the roof and installing 12 to 18 light bulbs inside of the medical clinic and outside of the medical clinic, so that people can actually find the medical clinic at night. We're also bringing very small refrigeration, 50 liters, 65 liters, and we are working with the local government, the health district officer, so that they bring vaccines and medicines the days of the installations. Obviously, what you see the day of the installation is an enormous, very long line of women and children waiting, and people are being vaccinated for the first time. I understood over the years, we've been doing it now for 5 years, and as you've seen, we have done 65 solar projects. One of the things that I understood is that in order to make it sustainable, I need also to power with solar energy the homes of the nurses and a future doctor, because surprising enough, doctors accept to move from the capital to the village now that they have access to energy and vaccines and medicines. We're also going to schools, primary schools, secondary schools, install solar panels on top of the roof, light bulbs, And obviously what you can see is a better education. We have all the reports that shows how many more students have passed their exam after the installation of solar energy. That's the only place where they have energy, and that's where they're coming at night to study. We also go to orphanages, and we're installing water pumping and solar energy and light, and trying to help them as much as we can. Average cost of a project is no more than $10,000. I never got an invoice that was more than $10,000, meaning buying the equipment, the transport, the labor, everything that is included to bring electricity to a rural medical clinic, a school, an orphanage, doesn't cost more than $10,000. Now, some of you here probably are wondering, how are we making it sustainable? We are in the most remote villages. We are installing quite sophisticated systems. Who is maintaining it, and how we keep it sustainable? So beside making sure that the village has to create a solar committee and sign an MOU with Innovation Africa and choosing the chairman, treasurer, secretary, and so on, one of the dilemmas that we had is the batteries. As you can see, this is the solar system that we are installing. We install solar panels, inverters, control chargers, but also batteries. Those batteries are going to be dead in 3, 4, 5 years, and they are expensive. So who is going to pay for that? The orphans, the students, the nurses, the government? Who is going to pay to replace those batteries? Where is the money is going to come from? Then, all of us now, being in Kenya, and most of us have been in Africa, we know that today they have cell phones. Many people have cell phones. The problem, they don't have a place to charge their cell phones. So then we realized maybe we should create businesses. People need energy to charge their cell phones. We are installing energy. Let's use that energy to create businesses. And that's what we have done. Innovation Africa today runs 65 businesses inside of the schools, medical clinics, and orphanages. We are usually choosing a lady, we are training the person, accounting, expenses, revenues, opening a bank account, and people are coming to facilities, charging their phone, paying 300 shilling, 500 shilling, 30 kwacha, depending of where we are operating, and the money is used for two things. One, somebody has to buy the light bulbs. Second, replace the batteries. So by installing energy, we also installed a business to allow them to generate the income that is needed. Now from Israel. I was born in Israel, and Israel has been using solar energy for many, many years. And one thing that I brought from Israel to the villages is the tracking system. That box that we are installing on top of the solar system allows us to track how much energy is being produced per project, how much is being consumed, when it was consumed. If something goes wrong, if something breaks, if there is no production of energy for 48 hours, we get an alert. I get an alert, the local contractor get an alert, the donor, the local managers, and we are going and fixing it. So having 65 solar systems today, it's important for us to have access to a server to allow us to make sure that all of the project, all of the money that have been invested is still working and still operating. If needed, we can send somebody to fix it. From Israel also, we've brought some to prevent theft. And that's something that we're also doing. But to be honest, after 65 projects, I want to say that no one have stolen anything. and the community is involved, and we are very lucky about it. So on the ground, and that's something that relates to this forum, is everything that has to do with South to South. We are making sure to hire local people that we took from the villages, we trained, gave them license, driving license, computers. It is important for us to take people from the villages because they need to speak the language and they know the culture and they understand. So they've been working with us now for the past 5 years. And we are also pleased that we have brought from Israel engineers to train local contractors. So everything that is being done with local people. In summary, I would like to mention that in the past 5 years, we have invested in Africa close to $1 million. Most of the donations, we are a charity, we are a non-profit organization. Most of the donations came from the US, invested in Africa, and we have helped 470,000 people. If we look at the numbers, it really takes less than $3 to impact a person and providing them access with energy and water. We strongly believe that ownership is the key for success, and we are making sure that once you provide them with the solar system, we also provide them with a way to generate income with the solar business, and so they can maintain. I would like to mention that 80% of the businesses, solar charging businesses, are extremely successful, and people are making more money than they need for the replacement of the light bulbs and batteries. We are looking forward to find more partners in different countries. We are looking forward to expand. We are looking for places where there is energy poverty, where there is need for water, and hopefully we can find some of those partners here in this forum. Thank you very much.
Ms. Yari, thank you very much. Some amazing work, 65 projects, solar power in clinics and schools, business opportunities in rural areas. Thanks very much for sharing that experience with us. Now I would like to hand over again to Dr. Leuenberger, who will help facilitate the Q&A. Dr. Leuenberger, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Katrin. First of all, let me thank all the speakers for their very nice, very interesting, encouraging presentations. We wanted to show you here with this session a little bit, first of all, technology transfer, South-South technology transfer is not a simple aspect. It's not only the technology, but it also a lot to do with capacity building. It has to do a lot with the business model, a lot to do with sustainability. And in many cases, of course, it's also not a very clear cut between South-South and North-South and South-North and East-West cooperation. Very often, there are more than 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 stakeholders involved. And at the end, I think to scale up, of course, we need to make sure that always the beneficiary of the technology is able to maintain it, to develop it, to understand it, and maybe to further develop it, and also to disseminate it to other companies or stakeholders or communities in their own country. Because otherwise, I'm sure we will never ever reach a real impact. Now, I think floor is yours. If you have questions to any of the speakers or to any of the technologies, please. Yes?
Yeah, my name is Ndura, and I'm from Coma Associates. And my question or comment
Can you speak into the microphone, please? A bit closer. Thank you.
Yeah, my question and comment is directed to MS Siva Yadi Adi, founder and president Innovation Africa. Thank you very much for your presentation. It was a good presentation. And I found the technology that you are using is pocket friendly, and I think many can afford here in Africa. I was engaged elsewhere, and I was not here. I don't know whether you can use your discretion to give me that presentation so that I can have a look at it again and then know how I can get in touch with you, and then we can start some business talk. The other issue that I would like to bring to your attention is you did talk about the installation of solar panel where that can be used to pump water. And you talked of an aquifer. Where I come from, we don't have an aquifer, but it's a place where we can only install a borehole. I don't know whether the technology that you have can be able to pump water more so from the first or second river. I think you get what I mean. But all the same, thank you very much, Madam. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Guma. And yes, it will be my pleasure to share with you the presentation. It's in every presentation. I will send it to you as a PDF. And thank you for your question. Yes, using solar energy, we can pump water from the aquifers, or we can use existing boreholes so that we can use the energy to pump faster water and making sure also that the water is clean. One of the things that I haven't mentioned is that we are usually working with the Ministry of Water from each country, and we are testing the water, and we are making sure that it is healthy, and we are using purification systems so that we can guarantee that the water that we are pumping is safe for drinking. So yes, it will be my pleasure to come and see how we can help where you are.
Thank you very much. I like the presentation of Yari, Sivan Yari. My name is Aska Nyangeri. I'm from a women organization, and I come from Kenya. I come from a place where there's no water, no electricity, no roads, no there's no development there in Kenya. I come from a division called Nyamusi Division, Nyamira County. This is not the only county which is poor, which lacks water, lacks electricity. No. Why I ask you this question is, why have you been sidelining your operations? You have not set up any project in Kenya. I am impressed by your presentation, and me, I like solar. I want solar. I prefer solar. I prefer solar right now here in this country.
Can you maybe come to the real question?
Please, may I say what I want to say? In this country, we have a monopoly in hydroelectricity production. And that, what I mean is that it has caused us a lot of problems in the country, in the sense that many parts of the country don't have electricity. They don't have electricity. There is regional inequality in power yes. supply. Why are you sidelining Kenya?
Remind me your name, please.
My name is Aska. Call me Aska. Why have you not set up a project in Kenya? Because
Aska, you're right. Very good question. And this is actually part of the reason why we came to Kenya. Is that I strongly believe that Kenya, after understanding for the past 2 days, that Kenya has a few regions that doesn't have access to electricity and clean water. Thank you for presenting your women organization, and I would be curious to learn more about your region, Nyamusi. And yes, I would like to mention that we've done 65 projects. We will be doing 67 projects. And in order to scale up, we're looking for partners. NGOs on the ground with whom we can partner, people who are doing already good work, and we can just transfer the technology and maybe the donations that we are coming from the US, and come to the most remote villages and making an impact. So I will be pleased to meet with any organization in Kenya and other countries where we can have partnership with. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a question for the last presenter. As I have observed from your presentation, the performance you have achieved in Ethiopia is very much lower than the other countries. I want to ask you if there is any challenge, specific challenges which you have faced, your project has faced in Ethiopia and also in other countries where your project was active. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Yes, we had a hard time to operate in Ethiopia. When I first founded the organization 5 years ago, I went to Ethiopia. What I find out that it was a lot of bureaucracy, and also at that time we were taxes. So importing the solar technology to Ethiopia, we were taxed, and it was more expensive to operate in Ethiopia than in any other countries. And that's the reason why we continued and have done more projects in Uganda, Tanzania, and Malawi. And this is also something that is important. We need to find countries that are friendly to import solar technologies and that they are willing to allow us to operate in a quick way. As you can see, we have done a lot in 5 years, and that's our goal. We need to get things done. We don't want to be caught by bureaucracy and long process. That's not what we are about. I should mention that the average age of our donor is 32 years old. Most of the donations are coming from young people online. They're giving us donations because they believe in clean energy, they believe in getting to the most remote villages, and they believe in getting things done. So the most important for us is to find good partners on the grounds that can operate with the efficiency that we have been operating until now. Ethiopia has been difficult, hopefully it has changed, and we will be happy to go to Ethiopia if that was the case now. Thank you.
Okay. Is there also a question not regarding the solar panels? Even if I'm very fond of them, I have to say there are also some other technologies on this planet which can be transferred. So it has to be not solar panels, otherwise I will most probably ask the people to close the microphone. Stephen.
Thanks very much, Heinz. And thanks to the panelists. I found these presentations really, really interesting. The question I have is, how do you go beyond these very interesting examples to scale? This question came up this morning as well. How do we scale up these really interesting pilots so that 1 or 2 people in the audience don't say, have you come to my community? But you're already there. How do we scale this up? So I asked that to the panel for reflection. Thanks.
Who on the panel would like to answer? Yeah,
okay. Okay, first of all, thanks for a very relevant question. And this is actually, there is no single answer for this question. It depends from technology to technology, country to country, depending on their priority, their problems and all. But we had tried in UNIDO several type of tools and mechanisms, especially to scale up. I will give you only one example. One example, what we have done in a country like Laos and Cambodia, the transfer of technology is one part, but scaling up is the most important part. To scale up, we had made, we call them resource efficiency and cleaner production circles, where we have brought on an average 6 competitors together, talk to them, and present to them what technology has been transferred, what are the economical, ecological, and social benefit of that. And we, with the part support, we only help them to discuss with each other and help each other for the transfer of technology. One example, one kiln fellow in Cambodia, he transferred technology from Vietnam. Now he is not running kiln. He is only installing kiln into the whole Cambodia. And he charged very little compared to Vietnam. His charges are only 10%. And in spite of making a brick, now he has become a consultant to help industries for brick kiln. So some sort of a mechanism for scaling up is very important. There are different tools, different mechanisms. If we have time, we can discuss in bilateral that what type of mechanism has been used, what has been successful, what has not been successful. Thank you.
Well, maybe I can add, of course, Stephen, you know that, of course, if policies are not in place, if the prices for the raw materials or, for example, for the water are not existing, why should a company save water if they have plenty of water? So there are, of course, a whole series of policy measures, laws, regulations, which also should be in place and who can help us then to replicate. By doing, for example, programs like the MET test, where we have started in 3 countries, we are now using all these, in a way, trained people also, again, to work in the neighbor countries. So there we have some sort of a multiplier effect, but only if the policy and the regulations are in place. Otherwise, it is very, very difficult, for sure.
I just wanted to give a comment I mean to support what the professor said. This is what I tried to allude to in terms of trying at the macroeconomic level to change so many things. That we found, yes, we've been like now in Kenya, we've been promoting resource efficient and cleaner production for over a decade now. But you find that the policies and legislations were not enabling, and also the institutions. So if you look at, for example, the energy sector, we actually came up with an energy policy, a new Energy Act, but still, again, we are reviewing that. So the first thing we did, we had to unbundle so many things. So you find that there was a monopoly in generation, transmission, distribution, and all that. So when we started unbundling, we unbundled generation, and then distribution and transmission. There's still some monopoly, but you find that now there's another bill again trying to unbundle the distribution so that you can be able to open it up to the independent power generators from the renewables and all. And then there was a feed-in tariff policy which came. Again, when we look at the kind of feed-in tariffs which are coming with various types of renewables, we feel that they should be further differentiated. Again, so there's further work which is going on there. And we find that still that is not enough. So we came up with a new institution, the Rural Electrification Authority. Now that, again, a new bill is expanding its mandate to become National Electrification and Renewable Energy Authority. And to go with that, we have now cook stove regulations, we have biogas regulations, we have biomass regulations and all that. And then there are proposed institutions which should come and build capacity. So you find that it's like this is now when we are taking off, and this is when we expect that this kind of replication and mainstreaming to really take place. So those enabling environment has not been there in most of our countries.
Thank you very much for a very interesting panel, I have to say. I was going to comment, first of all, on the issue and the challenge of scaling up, especially when we talk about NGOs who are really usually working on a very community level, but then when there's success, how do we connect it, obviously, to a policy of the government, of the central government, which will then allow it to scale up really into a national program, and I think this is one of the challenges that has to be looked into. A second comment I had, and this is really, sorry, I have to respond to it, concerning the Innovation Africa, since I've seen the organization when it first started, and I see what they're doing today, and it is very nice to see this accomplishment, and I come from Israel. My question is to Ms. Gonzalez on I mean, this is looks to me as an amazing project with very minimalistic fund in a way, but then generating a lot of income or savings, but not only savings, but I think from what I've seen with the figures to the long run, there's a lot of income to the factories or to the producers. But you had to raise a lot of funding for them to invest into it. Was it an investment that came from the owners, or were you also supplying them soft loans? What was the economic model behind this program? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. The project did not do any of the purchasing of the larger investment technologies. These were either purchased directly by the private sector, by the companies we worked with, or in some cases, there are financing schemes in the countries which we were able to link the industries to. So we were able to show them what these opportunities were and help them develop a financial feasibility study so that they could, if it's a green loan, well, that they could apply to it through the project. But we did not actually purchase the equipment. I think that wouldn't be necessarily sustainable, and really it's up to the companies to make that own investment.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for the presentations and such an informative discussion. I have two questions, and my first question is directed to Mr. Manzare regarding the rural electrification project. I just wanted to ask, if it's possible, on average, how much did the project cost, and was it solely funded by the government of Sierra Leone? And my second question is directed to Mr. Leuenberger. It's to ask, do you have a vision of how agencies can work together? That's it.
Thank you. You did not reveal your name, so. That project is about, I don't know if I'm allowed to say. Am I? Allowed to reveal the cost? I know the cost was not revealed to me by the Indian government, but it was sponsored purely by the Indian government.
Thank you.
Well, just regarding my vision to work together with other agencies, I think we in UNIDO, we have a real strong track record on working together, mainly with UNEP. We do now work together for the cleaner production or resource efficient and clean production program for the last 20 years with UNEP. We are running this program together. We have so far more than 50 centers. We have a close cooperation now in the PAGE, Partnership for Action for the Green Economy, where there are 4 agencies at the moment working together. UNIDO is part of the Intergovernmental Organization of Chemicals Management, IOMC, where we have 9 different agencies working together and coordinating their work. We work together with the Green Industry Platform, with UNEP, and with ILO. We have worked together with ILO in what they called Factory Improvement Program, where they work more on the social and worker health aspects, and we more on the resource efficiency. And I think last but not least, we are also at the moment working on the Climate Technology Center and Network, which is a common activity between UNEP and UNIDO and 10 different stakeholders, resource institutions. One of them is also TERI, you just mentioned them, in India, where we build up in the name of UNFCCC this climate technology center and network which will be hosted in Copenhagen and should be in operation at the beginning of next year. So I think, as long as agencies stick to their mandate and really keep their mandate as what it should be, as the core activity, I think there is absolutely no problem to work together with all different stakeholders. But now, maybe we can discuss it later bilateral, because I have to hand over to Catherine, because there is a slight change in the program.
Thank you, Heinz. So now, just to wrap up, we would like to recognize our solution presenters for their contributions. And we have some awards to give here, and these are being given to our distinguished panelists in recognition for their special contribution and strong commitment to South and North-South-South triangular cooperation. So in this regard, I would like to ask Mr. Yiping Zhou from the Director of the UN Office for South-South Cooperation, who has worked very hard in organizing this expo, to join us on the podium to present the awards. Mr. Zhou? Okay, so, and The awardees are, first of all, Mr. Heinz Leuenberger. Would you like to come down? Unfortunately, Mr. Ole Nielsen has already left, so I'll skip to the next awardee, Mr. Ben Rottig. Ms. Jane Yakango. Mr. Makato Asai. Ms. Carolina Gonzalez. Mr. Kele Mansoure. Ms. Sivan Yori. And I see I'm on this list too, so.
Thank you very much. Very pleasant surprise, I have to say. I also would like to thank Catherine Wong, who did all the work behind the scene. She was asking all the different technology providers or all the different projects to submit all their information in time. And I can tell you this is not an easy task. And then even to bring all the people in time to Nairobi is another quite challenging aspect. So thank you very much, Catherine, for all the work. I wish you a pleasant afternoon, and if you have questions, I'm sure the speakers are ready to also answer you bilaterally. Thank you very much.